So this month, Instagram released what they're calling Instagram Reels, and this can be a very valuable tool to use for exposure for your business. And these are only 15 to 30 second videos. So we're going to be diving into how you can use these videos for your business. So Instagram Reels has actually been a very fun and useful tool that I've been using now for close to 2 weeks, and it's gotten me a ton of reach and exposure and starting to have some results, but it's still too new to know exactly how this is going to benefit. But I did want to share with you how I've been able to use this specific tool and how you can as well, and kind of break down that. So let's dive into what exactly is Instagram Reels. So much like anything else, Facebook, who owns Instagram now, is doing anything that they see successful on other social media platforms. And so TikToks started with 15, 30 seconds, and now 60-second clips have really exploded and become a whole other social media network that is becoming its own powerhouse. Now, Instagram Reels is touching into that aspect by giving you a 15 seconds that just expanded into 30-second clips. And I think it's a little bit easier to show you what that is versus trying to really explain it. All right, so we get, seriously, Cannon, wake up. Has it been 30 minutes? It's called clean HDMI. Seriously, Panasonic? Sorry, it's hard to focus. I'm so annoyed. So you may be thinking, that's great, Diana. I don't do dancing, I don't do singing, and I don't do any kind of comedy type stuff that's not the nature of my business or maybe my personality. How am I supposed to use this for my business? Well, enter the second type of Reels clips that's more kind of true to what the nature of my content has been on any social platforms before. So let me show you that one.
This is what's called a hot shoe on your camera.
It has electronics that in photography can be used for flash systems, and in video can be used to connect XLR audio interfaces.
Cold shoes, on the other hand,
don't have electronic connectors, but are still great when holding microphones or accessories for your camera. So with this literally being 15 and now 30 seconds, you don't have a lot of time. And I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs are questioning, like, that's not a lot of time for me to do anything or share anything. But I would beg to differ, because if we take inspiration from TikTok, then we can start to see it could be educational tips, power tips in 30 or 60 seconds. Even if you're in the nonprofit space, you can actually do a lot with a little. So I want to jump into 5 tips that can help you to use Instagram Reels for your business. Let's get to it. So tip number 1. There's no such thing as a dumb or stupid or simple tip or something that everybody else already knows. There are people that are just getting into your space, your niche, your industry, and your field, literally have no idea what it is that you do or some of the technical aspects. If it's a side of one, it doesn't matter. There are always new things to learn. And so there's no such thing as a dumb or simple tip. So you literally could share anything and it still would be valuable to somebody. So tip number 2, be yourself. And we've heard this a lot in video. You've probably heard this a lot even on YouTube. And I think it's important that if you don't dance, don't dance. If you do dance, dance and be perfectly fine with being yourself. And so I kicked off my Instagram Reels being who I don't get a chance to share a lot on the channel. It's just not a lot of space for it. And that's just something I would generally do with my nieces and nephews and family already, and just kind of reframing that and repackaging that to the type of content that I teach in my business. And it's going on to do pretty well as far as like engagement, and just like, man, it's like people, I never thought that you would be like goofy like that or whatever. So if whoever you are or whatever you're into, whatever it is, be you. And don't feel like you have to be somebody else to start getting some levels of success, because as you can see, as I showed you before, there's 2 types of content that I'm able to produce on the Reels, and both are true of me. So I really would encourage you to be your true self in any of your content. So when it comes to how do you record this, I think for the 15 to up to the 30-second mark that they have this at now, I found anywhere from 50 to 70 words is a max. Like 70 is really pushing it, and that's if something naturally is said faster. In some of the clips, to get some of the different personalities or perspectives rather from the different cameras or camera brands, it would have to be something that's said a little bit faster. And I'm reducing that word count if it's something that is just like an expression. So I did another one where it was a progressive story, and it was just like little clips. And so again, I'm testing and playing and experimenting with my storytelling abilities. I'm the only actress in these clips or these scenes and skits, and I have to progressively tell the story and not fill in the gaps for everything. So when I'm writing out the scripts that I would use, what am I trying to convey? What's the least amount of words that I can use to convey that? And what expressions, because it's video, can I share? That may not be something that you're doing, like the acting portion of it. But even with B-roll clips, when I was sharing something about, how to use your podcast microphone with your mirrorless cameras for your video, if I'm sharing that, I still need to use visual representations to convey the point. How long does something need to be on camera? How many seconds really? Because that's all I have. Should something be on camera to really showcase that example? So 15 to 30 seconds, no, it's not a lot, but you can still say a lot of words and can convey a really good point in a short amount of time. Tip number 4 is watch Reels and watch TikTok videos for about 15 minutes. And you don't need to do this every single day. It does help if you find it, and it literally doesn't matter the what. If you're into outdoors and camping, watch that stuff. If you're into cooking videos, watch that, so that you can get an idea of somebody else that's doing a good job, that is interesting in a space that you're interested in. Because sometimes if we find a space that we are trying to do for our business, we can try to mimic that, or how can I do that same video and slightly different? And we could be missing the mark for our target audience. If you want to really hit home and hit the mark with your specific target audience with your reels, I think that you should look at an industry or a space that literally has nothing to do with your field and watch something that you're actually interested in. Because now, as the person that is the target audience viewer for that person, that creator, you'll know what's what I call scroll pastable and what's clickable and watchable. And so now we can take that information, go over to our space and our niche, like what's something that I could teach, that I could share, that I could just kind of repackage this, throw it in a 15 to 30 second reel, and it would be valuable to my target audience. So go watch some reels and watch some TikTok videos. Tip number 5, recreate your best content, your best videos, best vlog posts, best podcast downloads, all of it. But now let's just share one single thought. And that's honestly all a reel is one cohesive thought. How are we sharing one complete thought? And now you can take that one specific thing that you've learned, that one specific thing that was like a tip, like if you're like, this one's 5 tips, I can make each of these individual tips or one segment of the tip, one complete thought, into a reel and share that, and that becomes a valuable piece of content to the viewer. So if we take a podcast, a video, or a series that we've done that has been really successful, or something that got a lot of replies, a lot of comments, it got a lot of emails, we know that that's something our target audience was engaging with. So now we can reverse engineer that and put that into smaller form content. And so when you can reverse engineer that and start to drip that content out, but something that is like digestible, it's like little golden nuggets, you start to get reels that start to do better, and some will do better than others. Now, when it comes to that, and then last pro tip, we'll call this one an extra one, little cherry on top. When it comes to the hashtags, which is a very important thing, that is what's going to give you the exposure. So don't just make a post, don't just make a reel and then share it out there and hope that it gets the exposure. Instagram is already doing a lot of work, but we have to do relevant hashtags that speak to what people would want to be looking for, searching, or associated with. If we're not doing that, and maybe it's ones that we made up, they're not going to get any exposure because there's nothing that nobody is searching for or nothing that nobody is looking for. Find your specific niche, the things that your target audience would be looking for, associated with, and that also fits around the specific content that reel is about. And you get 30 hashtags. Now you can start to, you don't have to use all of them, but you can start to pick about 10, 8 to 10 or so, and experiment. What hashtags are you getting traction from, and which ones are you not, and really refine that. So while Instagram is changing things up, and this is just a new and a fun way of something that we've already seen working, now it's on a platform that maybe this is where your ideal customer viewer is at, on Instagram, and you can use Reels for your business. So in the next video, I'm going to be diving into how I've actually edited a few of mine and some very, very simple things that you can use to maximize that time. So it's just not constant, like show this clip, this one, but some really creative editing things that even if you're new and a beginner, that you can use to get better results with your Reels.